Hey guys, today it is Sunday, January 26th, 2020, and this is the very first time I will ever be filming a weekly thoughts video under the Rockzilla's Weekly Roundup program. This is a new podcast style program. I'm going to call it a program where every Sunday my plan is to sit down, put my phone camera on, hit record, and film podcast style videos like this where there will be no visuals, it'll just be me talking. So in these podcasts, I will talk mostly about uniforms, but I will also talk a lot about other stuff, such as, for example, the All-Star NHL, or the All-Star Game in the NHL, sorry. And I want to talk about that, and that's going to be a primary focus in this video today. But going forward, my plan is to do one every Sunday. There may be times in the year where I don't do it on a weekly basis. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to fully do with this just yet. But yeah, I mean, this is basically going to be a program on the channel where once a week, every Sunday, my plan is to sit down, turn my camera on, hit record, and start talking. And as I said earlier, these will be podcast style videos only with, for the most part, no visuals unless I indicate otherwise. Or if I start a video with a backdrop, then that's going to have some type of visual element already, as I'm sure you will be able to tell. But for these videos, I'm not going to have a set amount of time per weekly roundup video. But basically, I've called it the weekly roundup because my plan is that I'm going to do a podcast video like this every Sunday where I round up all the news stories that I want to discuss or uniforms that I want to talk about and discuss them in these videos once a week. So, welcome to the Weekly Roundup podcast, and with that, folks, it's time to, well, round up. So, before I do that, I just want to grab one thing. I think this video will go over a lot better if I have a glass of water beside me if I get thirsty. So, first off, I want to discuss the NHL All-Star Game. For today's video, since this is the very first episode, which the professional term for that would be the pilot episode, I'm going to keep this a little bit shorter, I think, and we'll see how these go. But let's start with the NHL All-Star Game, or All-Star mini game tournament that took place in St. Louis yesterday. So, first off, I want to talk about the uniforms. This is the second year in a row where, unfortunately, I feel that the creativity for the All-Star uniforms has gone down the toilet. Now, am I saying that last year's All-Star jerseys were bad? Actually, they were not bad. The only thing that sucked, in my opinion, was the fact that we did not get a teal jersey when the NHL finally went to the one city in the league that wears teal. We didn't get a teal jersey in the one city, in the one and only city in the National Hockey League that has a team that wears teal as their color, and that's San Jose. So, I thought the jerseys last year were not bad. I did not, for the first time, I actually thought that the heathered striping looked pretty cool. Well, as I say that, the North American World Cup jerseys were actually really creative, innovative, and something new, and they were a breath of fresh air for the short-term event that they were designed for. But I hated those stupid Adidas 3 stripes on the sides of those jerseys, and that's why I never bothered to get one. Because although they were neat for the short-term event that they were created for, the World Cup of Hockey back in 2016, the thing is that, you know, those 3 stripes on the sides of those uniforms, in my opinion, were horrible. But when Adidas first took over, the 2017-18 season All-Star Game, which was in Tampa Bay, At least, even though I hated the Adidas 3 stripes on the sides of every jersey, that to me is unacceptable. That to me is an advertisement on a jersey. Now, I know it's a matter of opinion, but that's how I feel. But for me, I will say this. At least those uniforms, although I thought they were mediocre, at least they had some color. At least there was a bit of creativity to them. I mean, they used a unique number font. The royal blue and gray jerseys had fluorescent neon green on them, something new and different. And the white and black jerseys, I thought that orangey salmon color was ugly. So they were not my favorite, but at least they had some variety. Then the last year came around where the game was in San Jose and they only had black and white jerseys. In fact, everybody wore the same socks. They have each division gets a white jersey and a black jersey for each player. And instead of the NHL shield on the front, they have each player's individual team logo on the front. Personally, I think that for maybe 1 year, that was okay. But I prefer the NHL shield on the front. I would rather have 4 distinct jerseys with the NHL shield on the front, one for each division, rather than everybody, like say, I don't know, Elias Pettersson for the Canucks having the Canucks logo on his jersey and Vladimir Tarasenko having his Blues logo on his jersey. To me, it's the NHL All-Star Game. And I feel that it's way better when the players have the NHL crest on the front. That's the NHL coming together for this event. That's how I look at it. It's the one unique opportunity every season, unless they're in past years when they used to actually go to the Olympics, they would wear the NHL shield on the front or wear a diagonal word mark with the conference on the front. And, you know, to me, I mean, last year was so disappointing because I gotta be honest, I wanted to see a teal jersey. I mean, if I was in charge of the All-Star uniforms last season, you know what I would have done? I would have kept the black and white jerseys. The white jersey would have been paired with white socks. The black jersey would have certainly been paired with black socks. And it would be one uniform per division. Say the Atlantic Division, for example, would get the white jersey. The Metropolitan Division would get the black jersey. Or actually the Metropolitan, okay, never mind. But anyways, what I would do for the other 2 divisions is I would have one division wearing the burnt orange that still somehow remains on the Sharks' home and away jerseys. And I would have done a 4th jersey and uniform in teal. Why? Because you're in San Jose and it's an opportunity to take and use such a unique color that only the San Jose Sharks wear in the National Hockey League, and that's teal. So, you know, to me, last season's All-Star uniforms were a completely missed opportunity. And I think they would have looked 10 times better with just the NHL shield on the front. In fact, if I could get a black jersey from last year with the NHL shield on the front, I would actually contemplate buying one, because I thought the jerseys were actually not bad. And I also think it was cool that they made the jerseys from recycled plastics. I thought that was really cool, and it's too bad that we don't see jersey apparel companies doing that all the time. I think that's a wonderful idea. We've got so much plastic in the oceans of our world. I mean, why aren't we doing something innovative like that? I think it would be terrific. But my point is that, you know, for example, you could have had the Pacific Division in teal last year against the Central Division in black and given people a rare little color versus color treat. Then in the East, you could have had the Atlantic Division in, say, white uniforms versus the Metropolitan Division in burnt orange. And I think a lot of people would have really enjoyed those uniforms. I certainly would have. Now, I know I'm not talking about this year's yet, but I have to get that off my chest. Because I feel the NHL and Adidas wasted a wonderful opportunity to do something unique and cool last year. And they could have kept those black and white jerseys because as far as I'm concerned, the jersey design itself was actually really cool. It was traditional. It didn't have the 3 stripes on the jerseys, even though I hated them being on the pants. But I'd rather them be on the sides of the pants than be on the actual jersey. But I'm going to say this too. You know, the jerseys by themselves last year were actually decent. I actually thought the heathered striping actually worked really well. I thought it looked cool. It was the first pair of uniforms I've seen with this new Adidas heathered striping that actually looked cool and looked good. Well, the heathered red striping on Carolina's new 3rd jersey does look cool up close. But I gotta be honest, and I think I might surprise some of you, but I'm not a fan of Carolina's new 3rd. I feel it's too dark. And I hate the fact that it no longer has the Storm Square striping, and I still feel that the one Storm Square on their old alternate logo on their old black 3rd jersey during the Reebok era is far superior to the new one. Now, the new one's accurate, yeah, but the old one, in my personal opinion, looked 10 times better. Obviously, I don't expect all of you to agree with me there. But once again, I mean, last year's All-Star Uniforms, I did not like that they put each player's individual team crest on the front instead of the NHL shield. I'm sorry, but in my opinion, it should either be a conference or division diagonal word mark on the front or the NHL shield. I mean, for 1 year, doing it like they did last year was fine, but they should have at least had a teal jersey. I mean, why couldn't they have had the Pacific Division players all wearing teal? They could have even had the individual teams or players' logos, team logos on the front. And I think it would have worked just fine. Now let's move on to this year's All-Star Game. I've got quite a bit to rant on. So, first off, I watched a little bit of the game highlights last night and when I got home from work. And there were so many different things popping up. It almost looked like a video game in beginner mode or something. I mean, I'm like, what the hell's with all these stupid graphics on here? You've got one where the number's fluctuating for the puck speed. You've got, little icons to show who's who on the ice. I'm sorry. And then they had some interactive scoreboard thing. I mean, I agree with the people who say that if you're going to try stuff like that, try it at an event like the All-Star Game. I do agree with that. I respect them for only trying it in a wild event like that. But I'm going to tell you something. Let me ask you this. Do you really want to see that type of crap in an actual NHL game? I sure as hell don't. I don't want to see that type of crap. I don't care how fast the puck's moving. I care about watching the game. That's what I want to see. I don't care about all these extra bonus graphics. I don't care that it's 2020. I just want to watch the best of the best play for the Stanley Cup. Or in the regular season case, or in the situation of it still being the regular season, I just want to watch some good old goddamned hockey. It's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine I sometimes have with the NFL too. You've got all these different graphics that come up. It's like, okay, I just want to watch the game. I love the game. I don't love the graphics. I mean, some of them are nifty. And some of them sometimes are okay. And there's some of them that are good. But a lot of times nowadays, I feel the graphics now make the actual live events look like video games sometimes. I don't know about you guys, but some of it looks like to me like it's right out of a video game. And I'm not a total lover of it. I mean, they have all these different... these little pop-ups at the All-Star Game yesterday. I respect the NHL for only using this on a trial run basis in the All-Star Game to work out viewing issues, such as every player having an icon above them, like it's NHL, whatever, the video game. For them to try something like that at the All-Star Game, I respect them for doing it there and not in an actual game or a playoff game. especially a playoff game, but it did not look good. I mean, it just, I don't know. I think there gets to a point where it's good enough. That's how I feel, and I feel that the way the graphics are in 2020 are plenty good enough. And I don't think we need to have a little graphic showing you constantly fluctuating and shaking around at the top of the screen, showing you how fast the puck's moving. I don't care how fast the puck's moving. What I care about is whether my team is going to win in the game or not. I want to see my teams that I like do well. I don't care how fast the puck's moving. I don't want to see little icons telling me that Matt Tkachuk is on the ice and he's on the left side of the ice. I can see it by watching it. I don't want to have these graphics. I mean, I already don't like seeing some of these additional graphic things inside the NHL video games, to be quite frank. So why would I want to see them in real life? Now, personally, when it comes to viewing a game, I'm a little bit more old school. I like to just watch a game and enjoy it. And you know what? I also think it would be really awesome if there was a channel where if you want to see all these extra graphics on, you can go to that channel. Or you can go to an alternate feed and watch a game there that has all of these new graphics and analytics. I think that would be a great compromise, because I know there are people out there that I'm sure really enjoy it. And if you do, all the power to you. I don't like it. But just because I don't like it doesn't mean that the next person down the street or at the local bar or wherever is going to dislike it. They might look at it and go, wow, this is so cool. I want this all the time. If you do, all the power to you. But I feel that if they're going to do stuff like that, they should give people like myself who don't want to see a zillion goddamned graphics all the time, give us our viewing of the game the way we want to see it. And for these people that want to see all this new technology and stuff, okay, have a channel or have an alternate feed on the internet where people can access it. I think that would be great. Then it would be a compromise for everybody. Or if you're going to use graphics, maybe between plays or whatever, you could quickly show that, oh, well, when he scores goals more accurately when the puck's at this speed or whatever. Something like that once in a while, I'm sure people are not going to really notice, and it's not going to take anything away from viewing the game itself. I don't know, that's just an idea I'm just thinking of off of the top of my head. But, you know, I gotta be honest, folks, it's really, I don't know. But if those graphics that we saw last night are the future of the NHL, I gotta say, I'm not particularly impressed. Now, let's talk about the uniforms, because as you well know, that's my bread and butter. And it always has been. Now, the uniforms this year I found were a whole hell of a lot more boring. I actually thought that the steel gray jerseys actually looked not too bad. I like them. For the short-term usage that they're probably going to get, I thought they were okay. I didn't like the socks, though. I didn't like how, especially on the gray uniforms, where, or actually everybody wore the same socks. What the hell am I talking about? I don't like how you've got the dark gray pants and then the dark gray top of the socks and then the striping and the white on the bottom. It made them kind of look like capris. They should have had the gray pants and then the white portion of the socks and then the dark gray on the bottom. But actually, there's one thing I want to talk about here too. Notice how the pants were gray. Dear Vegas Golden Knights, take pant shells, take those pants and wear them with your away uniform. Because the black pants with your steel gray heavy white uniform look completely out of place as far as I'm concerned. Either that or change your socks and jersey, remove the steel gray and replace it with black. But personally, here's how I feel about the Golden Knights away uniform. Now, I really respect the Golden Knights because they were willing to try something new and stay to a traditional design overall. And I think they should be commended for trying to be creative. But if you're going to do something creative, you got to make sure that everything complements one another, from head to toe on the uniform. A lot of people will disagree with me because I know the steel gray helmets are unique, but I also feel that the Golden Knights home uniform should be worn with black helmets to contrast the steel gray jersey. When you see a black helmet with a steel or a dark gray uniform, it complements way better. It provides ample contrast and it looks great. An example of this would be the BC Lions gunmetal gray alternate uniforms that they sadly only wore for just 2 lousy seasons. 2 seasons too short as far as I'm concerned. But back to the Golden Knights away uniform. We saw dark gray pants at the All-Star Game yesterday. Dear Vegas Golden Knights, please wear dark gray pant shells with your away uniform. It would look so much better. So much better. Now, speaking of the jerseys. Now, I like the idea behind the uniforms this year, basing them off of a musical staff or a music chart. I thought that was very clever, and I actually like the gray jersey by itself. I actually feel that Adidas did a really good job with it. For the short-term event that the All-Star Game is, I feel that it had a hint of tradition while being something new at the same time. I thought they did a good job. The white uniforms, though, I'm sorry, they were far too plain. But this year, you had one color, single color logos on the jerseys, but not the NHL Shield again. Everybody's individual team logo. For example, you had the Flames' bright red C on the front of the gray and white jerseys in nothing but red. You had the Blues logo in royal blue. No navy, no gold accents. You know, you had teams like Ottawa with a red logo. You had the Dallas Stars, I believe, with, it was either, I think it was plain, I can't even remember. I think the Stars just had victory green and white. They were all single color treated logos. And personally, although there were some crests that actually looked decent on the jerseys, I didn't care for that. And you know what? Speaking of this, the NHL decided to do something new, and they had a special little event at the All-Star Game skills competition where they had a women's team from Canada and the United States play each other in a special 3-on-3 game. Do you notice what the women were wearing? They were wearing the same uniforms that the NHL players wore, but with the NHL shield on the front. And to me, they looked way better. In terms of the uniforms, the women got it right. The men did not. Sorry, it's a matter of opinion. But the NHL shield looks way better on those uniforms, and it belongs on the front of the All-Star jerseys. See, Adidas has got it figured out. They know that if they put a team's logo on a player's jersey instead of the NHL shield, more people are going to go, oh wow, the players wore my player in my team. My favorite player, Austin Matthews, for example, wore this jersey in an actual game. It's not just a fashion jersey, man. I got to go out and buy it. So then you see a bunch of Toronto Maple Leafs fans wearing a black All-Star jersey from last year in San Jose. And I'm sure you're going to all of a sudden see some gray jerseys in the crowd with, you know, Austin Matthews on it. With the Maple Leafs logo on the front. I'm sorry, I don't like that type of stuff. I don't like seeing, for example, Carey Price or whoever was at the All-Star Game last year. You know, they were in the All-Star Game wearing these black and white jerseys with heathered gray striping. And it's like, oh, well, my favorite player wore this jersey, so I can buy it. Sorry, I don't agree with that. I think it's stupid. I mean, some of the jerseys, some of the team's logos on some of these jerseys actually don't look too bad. But to me, I don't like how it's being done now with the individual team crest. For the All-Star Game, it should be the NHL Shield or a diagonal word mark with the conference on it or the individual teams' divisions. Because they've done a divisional 3-on-3 format for the past little while, eh? So, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. I'm really not. And as far as I'm concerned, I would love to see the NHL and Adidas sell some of those All-Star jerseys with the NHL Shield on the front, because it looked way better. And I like how everybody looks the same on the ice too, by the way. For the All-Star Game, it's not a deal breaker for me, but I prefer it when everybody is wearing the same thing, including logo on the front. And, you know, I just don't agree with it. I really don't. But this year, the All-Star, the dark gray All-Star uniform, I actually like the design by itself. It's something new, but something with a bit of a retro vibe to it. I thought it was well done. The white one, though, with that silver on white, it's just too bland. Last year's All-Star jerseys were actually good. I liked both the white and the black. But they needed teal and orange. This year, before I wrap up this video, the first ever Weekly Roundup video from yours truly, this year was yet another missed opportunity, in my opinion, because here's what Rockzilla, would have done. I would have had one division wearing bright yellow with this uniform design. I would have had another team wearing royal blue. However, I would use the hue of royal blue, the lighter hue that is on the Blues 67 throwback uniforms. Then I would have also had a navy blue uniform. And I would have also had the dark gray jersey you saw yesterday as well. So I would have had one matchup where you'd have the lighter hue of royal blue from the 67 throwbacks against the dark gray. And then in the other matchup, I would have had navy blue versus bright yellow. And let me tell you, if the NHL and Adidas would have listened to that idea before they created these jerseys and actually went ahead with that, I guarantee their jersey sales would be much better. I'm biased, I know, but to me, that's what they should have done. And they wouldn't have even had a white jersey at all for this All-Star Game this year if they took my advice. And I think it would have looked great. I think people would have absolutely loved it. It would have been a breath of fresh air. It would have been something different. And it would have given people a bit of a color versus color treat for a change. And I don't even really care for constant color versus color. Once in a while, I enjoy it. But I certainly don't want to see it once a week or all the time. But you know what? For an event like the All-Star Game, I think it would have been so damn cool if they would have done something like that. But anyways, you guys, before I wrap up this video, I do want to make sure that I talk about this, and I'm sorry to end the pilot episode of this on a sad note, but sadly I hear that Kobe Bryant has died today in, I believe, a helicopter crash, and my condolences go to him, his family, his friends, the basketball world, and the Los Angeles Lakers, and every team he ever played for, if he played for any others. I could not believe that someone so young, who is such an icon, I even know who Kobe Bryant is, and hearing that he died today, my God, I feel so bad. It's so sad. And you know, I can't, I'm honestly really shocked that he died today, and I believe he was only 41. I mean, Jesus Christ. That is just horrible. But, you know, I gotta say, man, when I saw that on TV, I was in disbelief. I'm like, wait, what? No. I was shocked. I can't believe that Kobe Bryant died today. What a tragedy. That is just so sad. And the basketball world today lost a real icon. They really did. And it's such a shame. And, you know, I'm sorry to end the video on a sad note, but I feel that I should address that, because to me, I don't know about you viewers out there, but to me, nobody should die that young. Nobody deserves that. I mean, 99.9% of the world does not deserve to die at a young age. But anyways, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. You were a legend. And even people who don't follow basketball like myself know who you are. And that if people like me know who you are, clearly you did something right, and clearly you were an exceptional player. My goodness. May Kobe Bryant never be forgotten, and I hear his jersey will be retired, and rightfully so. That man deserved it. 100%. He was a legend. Anyways, you guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this very first ever pilot episode of my weekly roundup, and I look forward to being back to talk about more stuff next week. So on that note, you guys, I will wrap this video up. I know it's been 31 minutes, but you know what? I feel it was worth talking for this long, and there is stuff I wanted to cover. So anyways, you guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the first ever pilot episode of Rockzilla's Weekly Roundup. And until next Sunday, until we round up again, take care. And of course, as always, folks, bye for now.